Good afternoon, gents.
Good afternoon.
Today I'll be informing you about America's involvement in World War II. I'll be talking about three main points. America joining World War II, America's economy during the war, and the post-war. Over 70 to 85 million people died during the war. That's also including civilians. So it makes it the bloodiest war that we've had. The war started in 1939 when the Germans infiltrated Poland. Even though it started in 1939, the Americans didn't join the war till 1941. My credibility is from what I've learned from previous history classes, documentaries, and online sources. World War II blindsided America. But by getting wrapped into the European conflicts, it was to their advantage, increasing America's ranking as the world power. Which gets us to our first point, is America joining World War II. We recently just got out of war, World War I, and it was going on good till we hit the Great Depression. We were in a hole, and we wanted to stay isolated from international problems. It was going good. Even though we didn't join the war, we still helped out by providing aid to Great Britain. America maintained isolated until December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese bombed the American fleet in Pearl Harbor. Upon entering the war, America was classified under the Allies, which consisted of France, Great Britain, the Soviet Union, Canada, and Australia. The economy during World War II, our second point. Before the war, America was in a dilemma, like I said earlier, with the Great Depression. Once upon providing aid and joining the war, it created 17 million jobs across the country. The women came in clutch, working in factories, making munition, building ships, and joining the military to be nurses, drive trucks, and mechanics. After the war, the GI Bill was born. We all know what that is. The GI Bill is so that the veterans can come back for an opportunity of education and they won't be jobless. With the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nuclear war was introduced. That's something we never came to see before, so it was shocking to the whole world. With the troops returning home from the war, everyone came home to their family and they started reproducing, And that generation from 1946 to 1964, they're classified as baby boomers. Also after the war, the middle class was very common. It started to grow, and with that being said, the suburbs was born. The United States marked themselves as the richest country in the world. In conclusion, today we talked about how World War II affected the United States. We discussed the beginning of the war, the financial system, and the post-war for the United States. So being a major part of the country's history, I hope we gained more knowledge of what the United States went through and to see where they're at now. So by that being said, does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I do actually. Can you elaborate on the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese?
They blindsided us on the morning of December 7th, 1941. It was actually on a Sunday. They just infiltrated the base of Pearl Harbor, and no one knew anything about it. Anything else?
No.
Well, that would be it. Thanks for coming to hear me out, and